Yo, what's good in the hood? It's your boy, TWI, $T, Uncle Twist in the mix,
What's good? It's your boy Sincere, a.k.a. Sin, a.k.a. Sin Simma. Who got the keys to the beamer?
You already know the boy get busy. You ask who is he? It's your boy Tizzy. Showtime. You already know what it is. Man Dem Podcast all day.
Follow the Man Dem Podcast at Man Dem Podcast. That's Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Toronto West End, done. What's good? Episode 22 of the Man Dem Podcast. Yes. What's going on, fellas? How was the weekend?
It was good, actually. Real good. And weather's nice.
No complaints.
This bastard across from me, his squad took home that beautiful gold trophy.
2-time champs, man.
The Africans did it for France.
That's a good thing, man. You already know where the firepower's coming from.
Shouts to my boy Pogba. You know, man, Manchester United all day.
Mbappé's coming out party.
Mbappé, the second youngest player to score in a World Cup final. So he's on pace to be one of the greats. He's already in great company. So, I mean, Messi, Ronaldo, they never got to, hold the gold trophy. So he's on pace, man. He's on pace. I'm curious to see how he does. I'm rooting for him. We'll see.
Yeah.
Aren't you excited, yo? You should be like,
I am, man.
Wilding out, like all the love you're getting on the weekend.
I am definitely excited, man, because even when we went to this weekend, we went to that summer yard party. I was rocking the Zidane jersey. I was showing out in style, man. So I'm real happy for France, man.
All the people them harassing Twist for the Zidane jersey.
I know. They must have I was pump faking because I got ran up on talking French. But, my French ain't good like that. See
Beer Man saying voulez-vous to Twist.
French immersion.
Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Right?
Yeah, man. I don't know, man. It's different because I see a lot of other people, too, just in regards to how France deals with minorities and stuff. Like, a lot of people, they're not happy because at the end of the day, a bunch of people of minority that are treated unjustly in society are the ones that essentially brought you home this cup. And you know what I mean? Like, some people are like, yeah, it's good to a degree, but they're kind of on some servant shit, right? So salute, but hopefully that shows the value of once again Africans and just people of color being rock stars and just needing to just do in society.
It's crazy that you say that too, because Trevor Noah, we're going to be speaking about another prominent South African a little bit later, but Trevor Noah received a letter from a French ambassador. I guess pretty much he was angry that Trevor Noah, I guess, made a joke saying Africans won the World Cup. But Trevor Noah had a point. It's like, so whenever something negative happens, you always want to bring up the Africans did this, or say if they happen to do something that was violent or something, they'll be like, oh, some Africans. But when it's something joyous and an accomplishment, now you want to claim French. You want to claim them as French. He mentioned the guy that, I don't know if you guys saw, the guy that climbed the building to save the baby.
Yeah, I seen it.
Yeah. That was, he was African.
Offered a citizenship after.
Yeah, they offered him a citizenship. So when you do something positive, now you're welcome as a Frenchman. But anything negative, it's oh, you're African, scum of the earth African. So shout out to all the Africans that won the World Cup, yo. Straight.
Much of a win for you guys as it was for France.
Yo, it's good to see. We saw Denny. I know the people haven't heard Denver yet. We saw Denny at the summer. Saw him at the summer yard party. He's out there gully creeping.
And the first thing that he asked us about too is, have we tried the food?
Denny's alive and well, yo. You don't know, man. Shout out to the dude that most requested person to be on this podcast. We let him know that his presence needs to be had within a couple of weeks, or man's gonna have to get the fucking strap.
Yeah, exactly.
But fun times with the squad.
We're waiting for the food show.
Yeah, him and Terrence, you already don't know. So yeah, shout out to that, Ace Hill, yeah, right? Ace Hill Beer.
Sponsored that, yeah.
Shout out to that good event, last Sunday.
Shouts all the, complimentary beers and brews.
The Showtime's ping pong game is me.
Beers and the humbling on the table tennis, yeah. Yeah, that's something people don't want. You don't want that smoke.
We'll get it back. We'll get it back.
Nah, never. Never, ever.
I just gave up, yo. I'm like, screw this.
This wasn't really playing.
It's the right thing to do, man. You could take that L, dude. Music, what's going on in music, yo?
Yeah, I was staying on top of the summer and events. 3 years since Future dropped DS2. Hip-hop fans all know how big that was. I think that's when you can officially say that he arrived to the masses.
Fuck, that's the shit that actually made me listen to him.
Yeah, that facts. Because
to
make you listen to him
same damn time, all that, I didn't care for that. But it's funny because I was actually driving Sins Whip. I was a designated driver. Right after Jizza at Young and Dundas Square, and we ended up going to Revival after.
Yeah.
And figured I was driving, and me mans were there, whatever, in the whip, having their side conversations. At the end of the night, mans were passed out. And I actually took that album in its entirety, and yeah, that's what won me over, because this was trying for 3+ fucking years. I'm like, I'm not having it. Like, how's this nigga getting the pass on the auto-tune, and it ruined fucking Death of Auto-Tune by Jay, ruined T-Pain's career, Ron Bound's career. How's this guy just play the background is it safe to come out yet? You know what I mean? And now he's just making a killing out of it. But, to get a deeper understanding that, he really got the best internship in music through the Dungeon family. He's around Outkast and Goody Mob and Cool Breeze and them dudes. And everybody thinks the South is big now, but the South had the aforementioned dudes, and Goody Mob, Outkast, Cool Breeze, but also had Ghetto Boys. You understand what I'm saying? So the South's been heavy. So, shout out to Dirty Sprite too in Future. I consider him a mumble rapper, but, I'm cool with dude.
I respect his pedigree because, as you said, he came from the Dungeon fam. So clearly he has an ear for the music. He's been putting in his work in the Dungeon. Yeah. So I was more open-minded to listening to his music. I know Showtime loves Wicked. I remember that stint. Any club or bar we went to,
I served the bass with Wicked. Yeah.
Like James Harden.
A certain song, listen, man. There's certain songs that come in the club, it's a rap. I'm in the club and I hear booty bye, booty bye, booty bye, booty bye. Right here, you gotta watch your friend. Not just smoke with her run. Certain songs is yo, where's Showtime? You know, Tony Yayo so seductive. Certain songs come on, I spaz, yo. But you don't know, shout out to Future all day. You know what I mean? He's petty though. Hella petty. Did he really drop it? Did he really drop his album the same day as Sierra's anniversary?
Yes, he did.
Correct.
That's why those umbrellas were all underneath his comment section, yo.
Petty nigga.
Petty wop, yo.
Yeah.
God.
That's all the body work and Wicked drop still to this day, bumps.
Yeah, facts.
And the Gucci slipper stock rose.
I thought it rose from when Drake lost it in the ocean.
Damn. I fucked your bitch in some Gucci flip-flops.
Yeah, shouts to Future DS2. Listen to it if you want to get into a vibe this weekend, just for nostalgic purposes. Speaking of summer and this hot summer that we're having in the city,
in other ways,
I'm not talking about tanning and getting your melanin game stronger. Unfortunately, there's been multiple shootings, but unfortunately for myself, it's a little bit closer to home. There was a shooting last week at Slumdog Bar and Grill. That was a club not a club. That was a bar I used to frequent a lot. Sundays used to watch football there a lot. Brought Showtime. At one time, he loved the ambiance of the spot.
Years ago.
But unfortunately,
as per everything else in life, black people ruin something. No, I'm just kidding.
So
he's not with us.
Rest in peace to Kareem Watson. I actually met him at Slumdog. Unfortunately, he was murdered in front of Slumdog. So rest in peace to him. Condolences to his family. He had 2 young children. So that hit close to home. We've shared a few drinks together, so you know.
People playing God out here.
It's wild. There's just the brazenness of how it happened, and just we're becoming numb to this, but it has to stop, man. Like, enough's enough, man. Like, this is too much, but just rest in peace to his family. Just rest in peace to him, and condolences to his family.
Yeah, long trek forward, man. That's for sure.
I don't know.
So, staying on the topic of just violence, but this is the police side of violence, police brutality.
Which seems like a common reoccurrence.
Yes.
Anyways,
Eric Garner.
3 years ago.
3 years.
Selling cigarettes. Selling
loosies. If you don't know what a loosie is, it's a loose cigarette, like a single cigarette. Selling on the street. You know, if you're familiar with New York, Staten Island's a very pro-Trump borough.
Yeah.
I know, you know, Wu-Tang comes from Staten Island, but if you've been to Staten Island, it's heavily conservative. So if you're not familiar with the story of Eric Garner, yes, he was killed by police by a chokehold that is actually illegal in the state of New York. To apply a chokehold on a suspect or any individual.
Wasn't resisting or nothing.
Wasn't resisting.
The situation was contained. Same BS, man.
And he was murdered. So that was one of the bigger murders, police murders, because it was caught on video. That was like one of like it's bad to say like pioneering videos, but like
hashtags and stuff.
Yeah, for the hashtags, the Black Lives Matter movement to even pop off.
Yeah,
Can't breathe.
Yep.
Jada kissed her Jason with Swiss Beats.
Yep. And
can't breathe.
Still no justice to this day.
Yep. Guy's working a minimal scheduled officer accused, and he's still getting paid, which is disgusting when you think about it, because like most things now, shit was caught on camera, and still, that's not enough for justice. You know what I mean?
That was very unfortunate. It was like sick. It was sick to my stomach to watch it, because a loose cigarette. If you've been to New York, that's like people live off that. Like they sell loose cigarettes. That's nothing. That's like that's something you just turn. Petty. Yeah, it's very petty. You turn your cheek to. Like, what are you really getting out of arresting somebody for a loose cigarette? Really?
People even come up on you on the street here in Toronto. Could I bum a cigarette off you? It's like harmless, man.
There's a lot more, you know, intense crimes that you could be investigating or putting your energy towards. So Eric Garner being choked out is sickening, and we're still unfortunately facing it to this day. To also bring this into full circle as well, the Miami Dolphins, they had their anthem protest policy leaked. A confidential source gave the policy today, stating that any player that either sits or kneels during the anthem will be either fined 4 games. Sorry, they will be suspended 4 games, fined, or both, which is to me outrageous, because there's guys beating their wives, getting caught with drugs that there's no repercussions for them.
Yeah, stuff that should really be penalized on, yeah.
And the anthem protests are, as we were speaking about Eric Garner, it's just protesting police brutality and things that are evident, things that we see on TV. There's body cameras, there's people recording on their phones, there's concrete evidence. So the fact that this is still an issue, that players don't have a right to have a opinion, to have some sort of just awareness, like it's out there, it's happening. It's not we can't be blind to it. Everybody sees it. So the fact that the NFL is still trying to suppress the voices of these players is ridiculous. And Miami Dolphins, like, you showed your hand. It's sickening.
Yeah, it's just gonna continue. Sadly, I think that's it. It's just gonna continue.
It's sickening. Shouts to Colin Kaepernick, still leading the fight. He still doesn't have a job. I'm personally, this year, I think that's it for me with the NFL. I'm just gonna I'm just gonna find a hobby during Sundays or something.
Guys all together?
Yeah, I'm just gonna chill out this year because it's a blatant slap in the face. It's a blatant slap in the face. I don't respect it. I don't respect the league anymore.
So for me, it's just at the end of the day, just in regards to everybody using their platform and celeb and all that, I'm a fond believer and a non-hypocrite. If you're not part of the problem, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. And you know what I mean? It's a great man, you know what I mean, who would have been 100. And instead I'm saying he would have celebrated his birthday, you know what I mean, this week. And that's Nelson Mandela. And that's somebody who, regardless of what the circumstances could have been, you know what I mean, his whole narrative and his whole vision that was very driven just off of nothing but sheer selflessness, you know, ultimately, you know what I mean, like, brought light to things like inequality and stuff like that. And I salute that dude. And, you know what I mean, and in the NFL where, you know, you're probably going to get hit with anything like a $20,000 fine or whatever the case is, I mean, I say take the hit. You know, especially if it's something that you really believe in. Like, a man sat in jail for fucking years and he's innocent. You know what I mean? Just because ultimately, you know what I mean, he wanted to prove his point and he's dead set in it and he was solid and 10 toes down on that. You know, so for people who are making millions of dollars to do what they love and stuff like that, that's really what it is. Because ultimately, the only person that really is suffering, I mean, long term is Colin Kaepernick. And he's the one who's blackballed. The rest of these guys will still have jobs. And, you know, all that other shit. So, you know, taking a light hit in the pocket's cool because ultimately you have to tell the NFL enough is a fuck enough. You know what I mean? Like, they're basically, like, pimping these guys out like puppets on strings. Like, yeah, we need your talent. You know what I mean? We need your athleticism and shit, but we don't want to hear your voice. You know what I mean? We don't care, you know what I mean, what's going on in the neighborhoods that are reflective to how you grew up and shit. You know, we're going to find you guys and we're going to put a muzzle on you guys and control what you can and can't say. And in the era of, I mean, when you grew up with the Nelson Mandelas and the Martin Luther Kings and the Marcus Garveys and the dudes like that, you know, you had the flashy dudes as well, you mean, to look up to, you know what I mean? Like, you had, if you're, depending on your era of basketball, maybe Oscar Robertson or, you know what I mean, a freaking, you know what I mean, like Iceman, whatever it is. My generation, the more flashier athletes would be a Deion Sanders or Michael Jordan, whatever it is. But those are the guys I'm looking up to, trying to be like Mike. But you also had the guys who were heroes, you know what I mean, that gave you real structure and vision and just know that, you know what I mean, it's all about heroism and world peace. And, you know, I don't think the world will ever have another Nelson Mandela, but anybody who was privileged enough to, I mean, benefit through real Black History Month and back in the day in school where it wasn't just a day out of the friggin' month of February. Like, you were actually being educated through these books and you have even just a minimal working knowledge who Nelson Mandela is. You know what I mean? Something like just friggin' anthem protests and stuff like that. That's the minimal sacrifice you can do for a man that spent, you know, 27 plus years in prison. They mean to stand firm on his. So if I'm these friggin' athletes, I'm still fucking doing it. Because if it even gets to the point where you want to call someone's bluff, how are you going to fucking have all these friggin' games and sell out these stadiums? What are you going to do, get replacement athletes? These aren't replacement refs. You saw how that replacement ref shit went. Even after one friggin' blowed up call on a Monday Night Football game, you had to go back to the essence. So, you know, they're calling these guys bluff, telling them we're going to friggin', you know, fine them and suspend them, whatever the case may be. But, you know, my personal thing is you guys have the money. And fuck that. You guys probably throw $25,000 in a strip club. You know, if you're really dead set on that, you know, like, do what you have to do and just make sure that, you know, the NFL knows that you're solid on that and they, you know, meet up with the players union and come to something that is not trying to muzzle these guys who's standing up for these kids in these low-income, high-risk violence communities, because that's just fuckery to me. You know, the same thing I was talking about with France earlier, right? Like, these guys are good enough to use for their talent and stuff, but you don't want to claim them as theirs, right? Like, yeah, you know, you can come so far, but this is where we stop you. Like, your reach can't, you know, so. Shout out Nelson Mandela, man. That's a real one right there.
Yeah, happy belated, he would have been 100 years old.
Digits, man, and like, yeah, he was like the, you know, you can say he's been woke when he was here, you know, he was definitely voice to the voiceless.
Wait, let's not even say woke. That's his life. I don't even want to give it like a buzz type of term. Like that's who he was.
Yeah, like he was providing like a voice to the voiceless, and all the other things that he did, he was always educating people, you know, to improve themselves and the character as a person.
Philanthropist,
you know
selfless, great man. Like you put that man in the same breath as, you know, depending on which way you want to go, Gandhi. You know what I mean? Martin Luther King, like it's this man, Muhammad Ali, like they did that Mount Rushmore of greatness and selfless dudes that, you know what I mean, just really used every moment and opportunity in life just to advocate for better and equality. I mean, equality and this. It's crazy, man, because I see it, everybody nowadays, you know, everyone has a complaint about something, but, you know, ultimately everybody just goes back to living their life. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you hear about Sean Bell, you hear about, you know what I mean, Trayvon Martin, and, you know, after a point, everybody just kind of fades away, you know, because if everyone's really that mad, if I was in Florida, I'm that mad, like Zimmerman's not walking around. You know what I mean? I'm that mad. Then nah, man, justice failed me. Let's take it to some street justice. But not even just the promoting violence or anything like that. I feel like we could all complain about the violence and everything like that in the city and all that's going on. But, you know, what would Mandela do? He wouldn't just sit down and just complain and stuff like that. You know, he'd do his bare minimum just to, you know what I mean, try to alley-oop. I mean, something, I mean, slam dunk, a great opportunity of change. You know, so I don't know what that is, whether that's, I mean, just speaking through a podcast, you know what I mean, and just trying to, I mean, reach out to the youngins and the youth them, or, I mean, actually getting up and trying to get involved in some of these community programs, you know. They said they're going to put way over $18 million into city funding for the program. So, you know what I mean, trying to make them, you know what I mean, just channel those resources, you know what I mean, to the right communities and stuff.
communities,
you know, but my personal suggestion for everybody, myself included, and, you know, I actually do have a few things that, you know, I'm going to be working on behind, you know, the scenes, and when the time's right, it'll come up. I challenge everybody, you know what I mean, just to do your part for real, you know what I mean? Like, that's why it's a lot of times, like, you know, because I grew up in it, you know what I mean? Like, I wasn't around it, I was in the heart of it, you know what I mean? Just walking home past yellow tape, like, I'm very desensitized to gun violence. I'm not saying it's okay, you know, but I'm also saying at the point now where we're going to complain and complain and complain, and we're going to blame the youth who are very misguided, because who are we going to compare to being the closest thing to a Nelson Mandela? Obviously, this generation, they could say, oh, you know, Chris Brown's the closest thing to Michael Jackson. Okay, you have something that's comparable, but in regards to something that's of the essence, you know what I mean, that's really organic and pure and selfless, who in this world is really moving, you know what I mean, like Mandela? You guys were privileged to have somebody in office for 8 years, you know what I mean, Barack Obama, who came from those grassroots. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? You can kind of tell that just the purity of him when he went to third world countries and the kids would be reaching out of windows and just smiling when it seemed like he comes from that pure essence. But I don't see anybody really, you know what I mean, that is, you know, really trying to do that. Like, everybody puts up these memes and everyone's pissed for a minute, but then like they're cool. Leaders, right? They're clubbing 4 days later, right? Yeah. So, you know, let's just do our part for real, man. I feel like we could all, I mean, do a bare minimum just to really help out to this problem, whatever it is, you know.
But I think it's really minuscule, small. Chances are it's going to help.
You know, that's what Mandela would do. You know what I mean?
And we're all young black men, but it's not. The onus isn't, of course, we have to look out for our people. We have to do better all the time. But anybody listening that you're not black, you could be whatever race, you're also a part of it as well. You can't just be like, oh, that's the black people's problem. Like, if you really care about equality, if you care about our well-being, you have to speak too. It's not just it's not a one-sided thing. I'm not just looking for you to do it and we fall back. Of course, we have to do our part as well. But it's a collective. Everybody, if you see injustice, you have to stand up as well. Nothing's gonna get moving if we're not a collective unit.
No such thing as isolated incidents.
And it's crazy too. Like, a lot of the violence that's going on in the city as well. Earlier, I was speaking about Trevor Noah. I read his book. It's called Born a Crime, because Trevor Noah is South African, and he's like, one thing that he wishes America would adopt that South Africa did. South Africa at least acknowledged that they had a system in place with apartheid that was racist, meaning like we acknowledge that we mistreated black people, we mistreated all these people, and we're acknowledging it. So Trevor Noah is pretty much saying like that was big because as a young black man or black woman, we always think like when we're complaining, white people or people of other nationalities or ethnicities, sorry, they just say, oh, you're just complaining, or oh, I wasn't a part of that. So they kind of dismiss it like it never happened. But he was saying it would be huge if America just said we acknowledge that our system is racist. Just so we don't feel like we're crazy, because anytime we try to bring it up, it's dismissed. You guys are complaining, just work harder. No, it's an actual system that held you down. So if that at least for our psyches would be like, okay, like we're not crazy, like we're not just making things up in our head, like this is real. And then hopefully that would springboard some sort of awareness to be like, yeah, we finally accept that, yes, our system is designed to not aid you.
Yeah, and that's when Madiba fought so long and hard for, you know, so that's when he was released from prison. You know, the people understood his perspective and what he was trying to do to make things better. So that's why they embraced him, and that's why he embraced the people. So really, like, for this next wave of leaders, whether it's, you know, community-based, you know, after-school program, you know, just anyone that's babysitting, everyone can do their part to help make it better for the upcoming generation and the one after that, because that's the only way, you know, things will at least stop or not repeat themselves.
What's even so ill is that friggin' I was watching the news and one of these members of council, he went to Jane and Finch, and this motherfucker said he went there between the hours of 7 and 1 a.m. and he put on a bulletproof vest. Let me tell you something. First of all, this is just coming like 1,000, because I even saw you, with Doug Ford, who was in a suit. You're a bitch ass. You understand what I'm saying? And that's all the way 1,000. There's no way to be professional about that. Think about what kind of message you are sending off by going to a high-risk community and saying that you need to wear a bulletproof vest. I mean, did he put on a face shield too? Let me like relax, bro. It's not really that dire. And also, when he was grilled during the Q&A period, they asked him, they're like, oh, there's also been a surge in gun violence in your area and riding of Thornhill. Would you wear a vest in your own area? And he's like, oh, well, wearing a vest anywhere in Toronto is considered. No, don't dodge and fucking duck questions, pussy. The question was, there's been shootings in your area of Thornhill, and I mean mob-tied shit and all that too. Have you ever worn a bulletproof vest in your own residence, bro? To the point where you're gonna go visit somebody and like they're trying to like, they already have the stigma where they're scared to talk to people and mix up with law enforcement and people that are white and not of minorities even trust to come to you guys and confide in y'all, and you're coming showing up in a bulletproof vest, like, you know what I mean, like you're scared of them. Like, relax, man. That's some bitch ass shit, and that's coming all the way 100, bro.
Yeah.
You sent the wrong message, and I'm glad that your own peers and members of friggin' of city council let you know you're fucking whack for that. So you get the EEDIAT Ting for the fucking week. You know what I mean? You get the first actually EEDIAT Ting of the week, bro. Cause one more, but you got the fucking, you don't even get honorable mention. You're front runner for that shit.
So we're giving out the EEDIAT Ting to him. So we need his name. So he's Conservative Minister Michael Tibollo. EEDIAT Ting to Minister Michael Tibollo. And also he oversees Ontario's anti-racism directorate. So that's wild to me. Like, how are you looking over anything anti-racism, but you have to put on a vest to go to Jane and Finch? I know when they spoke to John Tory, he's like, I never put, like, I've been to these areas, I never put on a vest. Nobody, because Michael tried to cop out and say, oh, the police told him to put on a vest as a precautionary measure.
Oh, I hear that shit, man.
And Tory's like, I've never put on a vest to go in these areas, and nobody's ever asked me to put on a vest. So
he fucking played
what is this
himself,
guy talking about?
Clown himself, and I feel like, you know what? I really just wanted to fucking just let him know that he's whack for that. I think I'm giving him too much fucking precious time, I mean, on a very valuable podcast. So fuck them. You clowned yourself, you know what I mean? And let you know you're a bitch ass. You're the kind of dude you probably go out with your fucking wife, and when you get robbed at gunpoint, you fucking push her forward, yo, and say, take her. You're a bitch. You understand what I'm saying? But we're going back-to-back EEDIAT Tings that because apparently loyalty is not something that we reward nowadays. You know what I mean? It's like step away with your fist fight ways. Motherfucker, this ain't back in the days. You don't hear me though. Right? So, once upon a time, because a lot of y'all don't remember this because I'm going to call a lot of you motherfuckers out because when dudes used to get free tickets to go to the Raptor games and they couldn't fill seats and all that, it wasn't the Six or we the North, and we didn't have no global ambassador and shit cool. And you should try to tell dudes you're coming to Toronto, and dudes are like crying, like, I'd rather retire than come play for the fucking Toronto Raptors. And then all of a sudden,
you're whack Alonzo
all of a sudden, you know what I mean, you draft a young prospect. Wow, and I mean, we still have, you know what I mean, Chris Bosh, who you guys didn't really fill the void for Vince Carter and try to make Chris Bosh a franchise player, where essentially he was just drafted to be the number 2, like Pippen to friggin' Mike had Vince stayed. Nonetheless, you know what I mean, in these kind of dire times, not making the fucking playoffs, the struggling laughing stock of the NBA, everybody on their first exit chance would have fucking left. Not this one fucking dude, however. You understand what I'm saying? Dedicated endless hours in the gym, crafted his game. You know what I mean? Yeah, the defense will always be suspect, but insert another 300 fucking NBA players, for Christ's sakes. Who really plays defense? Let's be honest. It's a very offensive-driven game. Nonetheless, this dude dedicated his loyalty to the city through community initiatives. You know what I mean? Yeah, he was born in L.A., you know what I mean? Compton, Crip, you know, shout out, you know what I mean? The same color gang. You know what I mean? But ultimately, he adapted Toronto like his own. You know, and even when Kobe fucking retired and at the first chance of, I mean, being rolled out the red carpet and gone, that guy at 12 a.m., the day of eligible free agency, fielded no other calls or offers from any other fucking franchise that was not the Toronto Raptors. But yet, long behold, through mix-up and pasa-pasa, you know what I mean, it was all good just a week ago. Right? I asked them straight up because he's like me. You know what I mean? I'm not about to hearsay. If I hear something, I'm walking up to your place of employment. I'm running up on you at your house, whatever it is. I need to fact check that myself. Right? So ultimately, he flipping asked him like, yo, I'm hearing some things like, am I good? They told the man he's good. And in the wee hours of the morning, we could have been pining his girl or his side piece or whatever the case may be. After 2 a.m. in the morning, this guy gets notifications that, oh yeah, by the way, we are trading you. We are fucking trading you to San Antonio Spurs. Hold on though. This is a dude that ultimately said, you know what? I'm giving my loyalty to the city, and yo, it's championship at this point. Basically saying, yo, I'm ride or die for this franchise. You basically threw away the long-term relationship because you saw the bad bitch in the summer dress with the ass shots, with the breasts lifted and shit, right? That you really wanted to fuck. You threw away the secure foundation and long-term initiative for a one-night stand with this motherfucker who's very dire and adamant and saying he does not want to play for the Toronto Raptors. This is Alonzo Mourning all over again. I am talking about DeMar DeRozan. See how he did that? I even mentioned the dude's name. DeMar DeRozan was snaked by Masai Ujiri. I mean, he's a Nigerian dude, and you know what I mean? I know Nigerian dudes like to run them scams. You know what I mean? You scammed us on this one, dude. Yeah, it's not racist if it's true. But, you know, I am cheesed beyond disbelief at the fact that enough is enough, because we are ridiculing these decisions for the fuck dudes like the Cupcake Kevin Durant, DeMarcus Cousins, the rest of these guys running around, joining these fucking teams saying they're making them uncompetitive, but then these guys are treating the dudes like fucking Isaiah Thomas in Boston, shipping his ass out, and DeMar DeRozan. Guys have shown their loyalty to franchises, treating them with some bitch ass shit. I, for one, really feel as if we are really about to go through a rebuild. You rebuild from the top. And everyone's resume has been evaluated in the job performance except Masai Ujiri. And I want to evaluate that fucker because he probably could have gave up more to get KaWHY. He didn't have to give up DeMar. He could have packaged something with Larry, you know what I mean, and some other fucking dudes, yes, and kept that because, yo, you owe that guy that respect. He's never been disgruntled. He played with fucking Andrea Bargnani, for Christ's sake. Do you know what it feels like to play with a guy, the fucking Primo commercial? You know what I mean? What the fuck?
Yo, I hate Primo Pasta. That's just trash.
On
I never even ate it, and it's trash.
On everything.
The worst times, he's definitely been in the better years too, man.
And it's funny because his loyalty is what won me over, because the first chance he got becoming a free agent, and that's when Kobe had just recently retired, I said, yo, go home, bro. You understand what I'm saying? And even a couple weeks ago, even before LeBron signed in LA, someone was filming him, and they're like, oh yeah, you coming to LA? He's like, hell no.
Yep, I told him straight on.
Right? And look how they did the man. You know what I mean? I think ultimately it just goes to show that we're no longer from the generation where, everybody's viewed as being solid. Back in the day, there were multi-million-dollar business deals done off of a man's fucking word. Think they really made that marinate. Like, your word meant that much back in the day. You and a man sit down, friggin' toast 2 glasses of scotch and say you guys come to an agreement. You guys wake up the next day, sober up. That's still a fucking deal. Because you guys both have hung on to everybody's word, right? Nowadays, you can tell a man something and it's so back in his face, like, oh, you're acting like I was obligated, or I don't know you anything.
But you know the quote, there's no loyalty in business.
That's what trying to talk about is business.
They say that, right? They say that, but I saw Stockton ride for all his career. I saw Reggie Miller ride for his whole career. Yep. And ultimately, I know people say that about Kobe, but everyone has to remember Kobe did request to be traded twice.
Chicago, yeah.
So, you know what I mean? To know that somebody in a time where nobody wanted that. Honestly, shout out Mark Cuban, because everyone has their opinions about Mark Cuban, but Mark Cuban, like everyone knows, Dirk Nowitzki's off fucking limits, bro. He's a maverick for life.
Yep.
Right? And I don't want Giannis Antetokounmpo to get desensitized, because I see him screaming all this buck shit, but I feel like at the first opportunity, even if like they had something to like, oh, like Giannis for LeBron, they'd probably sell him out too. Right? So it's crazy because I don't really feel like there's any loyalty just in sports. Forget the NBA. Look what the Patriots did to Randy Moss after you got Brady that contract for breaking out the touchdown record. Right? Shitting on him. Like, there is no loyalty in sports anymore. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Like the Pittsburgh goalie, what's his name? He's not coming to me. Forgive me. He's on the Vegas Knights now. No, Flurry.
I don't remember.
But you know what I mean? Like Pittsburgh, like he got Pittsburgh one of their first ships under Crosby. Right?
Yeah.
And then they made it to a backup goalie and they shitted on him, right? And then Pittsburgh Penguins trash became Las Vegas Golden Knights. treasure. Almost won the cup. I mean, but what Masai did was some fuckery, and you know what I mean? I feel bad for DeRozan. Like, it's bigger than his basketball for him, right? He really embraced the city. Grew up his daughter here.
Yeah. He's hurt. Like, for me, okay, I don't necessarily hate the move. It's the way that they did it. Like, at least tell the man, yo, look for other teams.
Discussions are happening.
You know, don't have him thinking, yo, I'm gonna re-sign. It's all good. Give him the opportunity to be like, you know what? Let's be transparent. The past few years, yes, we've achieved great things, but we just can't get over the hump. I don't want you to feel like, I don't want you just to be in the dark. Like, this is we want to make moves. We want to kind of try something new. It frees up our space. Like, even KaWHY doesn't want to stay here. Yeah, cool. After 1 year, he's gone. Freed up some cap space.
But he's not. That's the thing though. He might Alonzo Mourning you though. If he's not really, think what he did to San Antonio. He swerved San Antonio for a whole season, right?
Yeah,
I didn't even show up in his street clothes. Yeah, right. So like Alonzo Mourning sat in his street clothes until he was traded to Miami Heat, and then backing off a championship, right? But his karma, his knee blew out. Yeah. Right, but
I don't suggest KaWHY do that. In
KaWHY, the way reports, I want to hear.
But he's KaWHY though.
The way the city's hot right now, bro. I don't know if you want to sit on anything. you better play that. I
don't know, man. I don't think he has to be, because even for me, like, it's so funny. Everyone knows that I'm so sticking up for DeMar. You have to be on crack to not know my favorite teams, the San Antonio Spurs.
Oh yeah.
Right? So imagine, oh my God, like finals MVP, defensive player of the year, NBA championship, KaWHY Leonard's a Toronto Raptor. That's good, but I don't like what they gave up for it. That's all my problem is. Like, there should not been DeMar DeRozan. He could have Kyle Lowry, fucking Norman Powell, maybe another one of them young boys not named Van Vliet. You know what I mean? You know, Norman, I mean, like freaking Delonte Wright or something like that. Leave those guys off the books. But Kyle Lowry, that should have gone. Norman Powell, he should have went. I mean, you guys have been talking about Valanciunas. Okay, you could put Valanciunas in too. Even though I have a love-hate relationship with that guy because sometimes he shows up. Yeah. DeMar DeRozan was off the books off the strength of his fucking loyalty, what he meant to the organization, but most importantly, to the city. Understand what I'm saying? So fuck all that. Like, sports is so funny because sports back in the day taught kids life lessons. Right? That's why, like, you put your kids in sports. Even though if your kid was not an athlete, if your kid was just the one that just came off the bench on blowouts, whatever it is, it taught them camaraderie, you know what I mean? Like, just how to friggin' be loyal, how to move in unison. That, you know what I mean? It's for something bigger than just one individual. Understand what I'm saying? That's what sports taught kids. Right? Now sports is teaching you nothing. You'll go for the quick buck, sell out, join a super team. I mean, look out for yourself because I mean, these hoes ain't loyal. I mean, these hoes, these HEAUXS's, I mean, fucking Masai Ujiri. I don't rate that guy, bro. I don't rate him, bro. Dwayne Casey got fired the wrong time too. 4 seasons ago, I thought he should have been fired. They fired him when he won Coach of the Year. All right, timing, kind of bad, right? Now DeMar DeRozan, everyone's being held accountable except Masai, bro. Except Masai.
And this is like, so already the stigma with the Raptors is a lot of people don't want to play in Toronto. So as a GM, if one of your vets, somebody that actually wants to stay in the city, if you treat them like that,
they're still in their prime.
Yo, if I'm a player and they're trying to send me to Toronto, I'll be like, yo, the head front office, yo, they don't even care for you. Like, yo, they'll ship me out. They'll ship me out quick.
Made those contracts airtight, man. No trade clause. Look how Phil Jackson wanted to get rid of Carmelo.
Yo,
he couldn't be, even though they're smearing the man's name, everything in New York media and all that, saying he's the reason we're losing. This guy doesn't want to make us trade him. This guy said, yo, I'm a Nick, yo, no trade clause. That's what these guys really need to go, especially if your stock's that high, throw that in there. Yo, even when like they friggin' tore down the Cavs mid-season and we all thought it was over for them, they're talking about friggin' even trading LeBron, bro. LeBron was tradable mid-season before the Cavs turned it around and got Jeff Green and Larry Nance Jr. and those guys, right? So these guys ain't loyal. If they're really talking about LeBron's name and mix up fucking LeBron, the guy you guys are fucking giving, what do you get, like a 98% rating in 2K? Yeah. Something crazy, right? Like, this guy's godlike and he's tradable. Listen, man, honestly, I'm not justifying what Kevin Durant did because he joined the ops and fuck all that. That's some weird shit. You understand what I'm saying? But yo, look out for yourself for real, man, and your family. Because now this guy's daughter, all she knew was Toronto. Her friends are here. Yep. His wife, I mean, she may have other businesses, and you know what I mean. She's part of the Raptor wife club or whatever the case is. Now, like, her surroundings have to be set. And San Antonio, come on, you come from a diverse city like Toronto to move to like San Antonio.
That
you know
is,
what I mean?
that is like a big culture shift.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy, man. So
mad upset and you can't blame him, man.
Every right to be, man. Fuck Masai, bro. I'm not like that. I know what being backstabs like. You know what I mean? I know all that disloyalty looks like, bro.
So fast forward and we're looking for the playoffs of the upcoming season. Do the Raptors fare any better?
Or ultimately,
we'll see. It's all up to KaWHY. Still, like, if he's healthy. If he's engaged to even play. Well, you're in the East now, so it shouldn't be that difficult, in my opinion.
Yeah, the East is always wide open except for...
And you can't sleep on Danny Green.
Yeah, good two-way player. But I think to the point of what they're trying to do is seeing if they can build enough... They're trying to do what they did with Paul George and OKC. That's what they're hoping on anyways. Even though they know his mind is a desire to play for his hometown in LA, they're hoping that they do good enough that he's going to want to sign long term. I think that's what this whole gamble on DeRozan really comes down to. Which is
I don't think so. I think they're saying in their head, yo, we'll just cut the loss after. I don't even think they're confident. I don't even rebuild. Yeah, I don't even think they're confident that KaWHY's going to stay. To be honest, they're just trying to clear up space. But as Showtime said, I think you could have probably done it in another way.
Yeah.
But
very messy, man. And actually, this is the one thing. Because again, right, I know there's a lot of casual sports fans, and I go to Blue Jay games too, where a lot of these fucking fans, like, first, you think Blue Jay games just an excuse for public intoxication? Like, fuck all that. Like, you buying $20 beers and stuff, you know nothing about baseball. Relax. Because a lot of these friggin' girls and just whoever it is buy Blue Jay gear. They sit in the stands.
Don't get it twisted. It's the guys too.
And they friggin' get thrown out of the stadium. But like, even with Toronto Raptors, a lot of people that's buying this We the North gear and all that. Understand this is the first time ever where the public consensus has been something where I've agreed on. This dude, because if you do it for DeMar though, you do it for Vince too. But they both deserve statues because of the two most important Toronto Raptors ever. And I'm saying just DeMar and Vince. Does not make no debates for Tracy McGrady or another fucking subpar. Because like Chris Bosh, maybe I would entertain. I would entertain Bosh. I mean, but Tracy McGrady's out of it. I mean, so, but Chris Bosh is not the greatest Raptor. That's just showing appreciation. But DeMar DeRozan is the best Raptor.
Bosh doesn't need anything.
Bosh, I mean, friggin' DeMar DeRozan is the best Raptor ever, and Vince Carter is the greatest Raptor of all time.
Yeah.
So they both deserve statues. I mean, and ultimately, too, just like what the Heat did for Dwayne Wade, if you have a chance to fucking make this right, make it right, you punk bitch. You understand what I'm saying? Because a lot of fans are cheesed. You know what I mean? I hate the disloyalty, man. If you know what that's like, be your cheese, man. And if anyone who thinks it's okay, I question, you know, you on a larger scale in life. It's not okay. Someone really gave their loyalty to you when you weren't hot. You know what I mean? It's like finding a bitch with a bunch of pimples. Her body's ill proportioned. She's shaped like a juice box, right? And you take that heifer and you make her hot, right? I'm not been with it. Fuck, you never met friggin' put them up. You know what I mean? So you got these SpongeBob looking kind of girls, right? And then all of a sudden you mold that girl, you chisel away on that little sculpture, whatever, and you make her hot. And she's the same one that after she gets some Clearasil, clears up her acne, puts on a waist trainer and gets hot, looks at you like you're not that nigga, and she disses you. Like, that's what the fucking Raptors did to DeMar. He stayed there when we sucked, when we couldn't make the playoffs at all. We're on a 5-year playoff run, for Christ's sakes. He's been there for all 5 years.
Yeah.
And really, like, this guy's been there through the hardest times, the shittiest times when things look like they're coming around. And then the Eastern Conference Finals, for Christ's sakes. I was there. And that's how y'all do him? Fuck Masai, bro. That guy moves like a Scarborough man, bro. Fuck.
Sure, his head office is 9 in the East End?
Yeah,
probably is still.
Yo,
do you see Melo's finesse move? This guy got traded to the Hawks, and then he's just gonna get waived and end up on Houston. Oh, Melo.
That's the point. Everybody wants to buddy up, man.
But you guys are saying that's a finesse move, but like, who you guys talking about? Carmelo Anthony?
No, I'm not saying.
He's the wackest. Well, no,
I'm not saying Melo's nice.
No, but I'm saying like he thinks he's like, but nah, he's easily gonna be studied as one of the worst players ever because he's the most underachieved person in his draft class. Yeah. That's facts.
Yeah.
Because he not changed around his game. Like, I watched the Knicks flourish while this guy was injured under some insanity shit. This guy comes in, he fucks up everything. Like, that guy, other than when he's in Denver, I think George Karl was the only one that could friggin' coach Carmelo.
That was his days in Denver.
Facts. He's not been nice since. He showed little flares here and there, but Melo's game has not evolved with the current NBA. Think about when Gentry and friggin', oh my God, my boy's in Houston now, coach. D'Antoni. Those guys gave birth to that whole system that Golden State's running with, right? Yeah. This guy just wants to ISO one-on-one ball while the rest of his teammates just stand around watching him. Like, Melo is not... Melo is that guy where Melo needs to go to a crap team and just like be like Iverson. Like, jack up 40 shots a game and try to like end up in the scoring books. He's not good, bro. He's gonna go to Houston. He's gonna go to Houston. That's like when niggas thought Dwight Howard going to Houston was a good mesh. Things look good on paper. They're not that good in like real life. How's that gonna work? 2 ball hog guys with Carmelo and James Harden, and that's James Harden's squad. That's how that happened. The same thing happened in OKC, bro. It's gonna be the same shit.
Well, first of all, Melo needs to come off the bench.
Which he says he ain't about no bench. Like,
he laughed.
He said that last year.
I will never forget that
last year, the OKC press conference.
I'll never forget that. He's like, yo, they want me to come off the bench. Yo, you hear that?
All right, but this guy's acting like, you know, he's a top 10, 15 player in the league. You know what I mean?
Nah, he's done. He should be in the big 3. To be honest.
You replaced him there? Jeez, yeah, he's supposed to be playing with Meta World Peace in them?
You should be in the big 3, real talk. I think he's done, man. He's done. But he's still getting the bag.
His best years behind him because he didn't have many of them.
Yeah, as Showtime said, like he's just what, ball hog. Like how are you gonna be ball dominant with Harden on the squad? Like you can't be ball dominant.
The game has changed and the pacing. You can't play isolation basketball. It's like a non-existent art form in basketball now. You can't do it.
So what? When Chris Paul swings him the ball, it's dead.
Pretty much, unless he swings it to him in the paint. But even then, you have to take off another 5 seconds.
Melo's going in the paint. You'll be around the perimeter, bro.
Melo's whack, man, but...
And all these moves, man, in this offseason, man, I don't know, it's going to make for, I don't know, and quite anticipating new season for better or for
Well,
worse.
Raptors, yo, I hope, yo, the East, yo, if that's the type of snake moves you want to make, yo, you guys better be in the final. Straight.
Listen, man,
the East is open, no?
The NBA... You know what? Now there's YouTube, and you know now you have your fans who they're going. Because the thing about it too, like Steph Curry, a lot of people don't acknowledge that Steph Curry gave birth to a whole generation of basketball players. Like you have kids that's just running up from half court, jacking up shots, right? But ultimately, let's do your research. They got YouTube now. They got the internet. Look at the modern day NBA. These guys chilled all offseason. That's what you motherfuckers don't know. Charles Barkley used to love playing golf with Jordan and shit. Yeah. No, these guys were cool on the offseason. Between the season, those guys were enemies. Those guys are face-to-face baseline. I mean, shoving each other. Teammates separate each other. You think those guys hate each other? They don't hate each other. They feel better beating each other than buddying up with each other trying to make the fucking super friends. And the NBA and the sports kind of, no, you know what? I think it's just the NBA, man. Because the NFL also has a competitive edge to a degree, just racist. Sure. I mean, hockey still, gets the most friggin' agile. I mean, the most sport that, you have too much speed, agility, you know what I mean? And baseball, people are going to debate that's boring or not. But I don't see people say, oh, yeah, let's join up. Like, it's only the NBA, man. And
what it used to be.
And if Kevin Durant ruined the NBA, I'm gonna say that not LeBron. LeBron went to Miami. And Miami sucked. They didn't have a good record. Yeah. I mean, just like when KG and Allen went to Boston, they weren't good. Like KD joined a proven formula that was built through the process of the draft. Harrison Barnes, who's a sacrificial lamb. You know what I mean? Curry, Draymond, and Clay all through the draft. Yep. Right? Just like he doesn't know he's part of that same nucleus before management fucked it up with Ibaka, Harden, Westbrook, and Durant. They should be 4 championships in right now.
Yep.
Facts. You know what I mean? So bring it back full circle. Masai, like, listen, man, if you don't fucking do no friggin' like swing for the fences for the home run, get no Hail Mary, you're a fuck nigga because you just pulled what the Blue Jays did with David Price when I was telling dudes, don't get hype up with this guy. Stop wasting your money on this motherfucking jersey. He's just a rental. He's ghost. This guy ran to Boston. No disrespect to Toronto. Everyone's like, oh, stay Price. The price is right. Fuck that guy, bro. That kind of light-skinned Drake. Fucking
why were they saying the price is right when this guy is non-existent
in the playoffs? I mean, I'll give him his props. In the regular season, he showed up. In the playoffs, I just would have benched him. In the postseason, I would have benched him.
And that's what he does,
you know. But fuck the Raptors, yo, all day, every day, man. You know what I mean?
Nah, I'm still watching the Raptors, but fuck the Raptors right now.
I don't know. I'm kind of liking my stance now, man. Just I haven't listened to the Drake album yet. I might pick certain NBA games to watch. But the Raptors, I don't know, man. This is some snake shit. I probably watch more San Antonio Spurs games.
Watch them get a Christmas Day game now.
I probably watch more San Antonio Spurs games than Raptor games now. You know what I mean? But well,
they still might shit on us.
I hope because they're projected to be 5th in the East.
That's
right?
The Raptors?
Yes.
Projection is right now.
You guys look online. They're projected to be 5th. But the funny thing too, but in the West, San Antonio's projected to be 11th. So, you know, I don't know how fair these are, but...
The mid-range jumpers between DeMar and LA now, man.
Yeah. Now I'm trying to figure out who they... Okay, they're going to put Boston in front of the Raptors.
That's a brainstorming, but there's 4 other teams they said are better
Indiana
than the Raptors.
TBA.
Right?
Yeah, to be seen.
To be seen, TBD to be determined. But, I mean, fuck the Raptors. I mean, that's what you need to know. And I speak on behalf of every Torontonian that's pissed. And I saw a shout out to Norm Kelly. He went down to Scotia friggin' Arena same day to friggin' start that process to get the rose in the statue. You know what I mean? So, shout out, salute. I mean, a lot of things were talked about this week. We thank y'all for rocking with us every week.
As always.
You know what I mean? As per the intro, and I mean, follow all them handles. And I mean, all day you already know what it is. Toronto strong. Everybody smarten up. I mean, love, peace, and unity. Love, live life. You already know what it is.
Love and blessings to Toronto and the world.
Bless up.